Hey, hey, hey! We're here. Sorry about that. And we are ready. Listen, I am so sorry. So la 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 la. Continue. To continue, we are at Kyra's house. So yeah, the next day dawned, bringing it with the sounds of the birds chirping happily outside the window. You opened your eyes slowly, letting them adjust to the light as you tried to recall where you were, remembering the unfamiliar sight of Cove's second bedroom. You're woken up on your own. The early morning sun filtered through the blinds, telling you it was about time to get out of bed and start getting ready for the day. The sound of Cove shuffling around the room drew your attention, though you weren't surprised. He's always been a morning person. Sitting up in bed, you let out a yawn and stretching your arms above your head. But groggy. Okay, you were used to sleeping in longer than this, and the late night hadn't helped. Morning. The two of you were completely different wavelengths now. You pulled yourself out of bed, grabbing a fresh change of clothes, your toiletries, and before heading to the bathroom. After that, you met Cole back in his room. He was sitting on the floor when you entered, sorting through a bunch of stuff in the box, determining what to bring and what to leave behind. Hey, can you pull out the stuff in those drawers? You nodded, though he hadn't looked up from his task. You know he wouldn't have seen. Headed to the drawers, you started the task of taking various items, setting them on the ground in front of Cove. Another hour passed by in silence. You were happy to see that you were making great progress with Cove's room and the only closet left to sort through. You took a minute to take a mouthful of water from your bottle, perched on the edge of the bed, feeling productive. Before long, every box, closet, and drawer had been sorted through, combed through, and with the items either placed, neatly packed up in the boxes, or organized and returned to their proper places. With a sigh of relief, you glanced around the bedroom and the work you had done together. We're done. Great job, us. I'm going to change out of my PJs for the drive. Yeah. When the two of you headed out into the living room, ready to get everything and finalize and hit the road, you find Kyra in the kitchen pouring a cup of tea. Cove headed towards her, leaning casually against the counter that divided the two space. Hey, you didn't have to get up so early. Are you crazy? Of course I'll see you off before you go. You can't sneak away while I'm out cold. She beamed at him, and honesty seemed more happy to be up and getting ready for the day. Do you want some breakfast? I got some muesli, I don't know, sorry about that. Or eggs and toast, oh, and some fruity cereal that you used to love. It's okay, we should really eat on the road. Kara smiled sadly, a little disappointed, but she seemed to understand that your time was running thin. I thought you might say that in that case, I packed you up some snacks on the road. Even if you don't end up eating them, take it anyway, just in case. You can always feed them to Cliff when you get home. And tell him I said hi. Cove laughed and shook his head, knowing his dad would love nothing more than to polish off whatever food Kyra had prepared for you. Thanks, Mom. You didn't really have to. Thank you. Not a problem. I wanted to make sure you were properly fed at least. She returned your smile with one of her own before putting her cup of tea aside. Well, I'll help you get your car packed. Sure, thanks. Okay. The three of you got a move on, taking boxes from Cope's bedroom and headed down to fill the backseat of the car until there was barely an inch of space left in the back and the trunk. With all your help, it only took a couple of trips to move everything, and you were done before you knew it. What? Then it was truly time to say goodbye. You converged back inside the apartment where Kyra looked over you two with a quiet smile. It was great seeing you both. Thank you for coming. She gave each of you a hug, and you felt a little sad that you hadn't been able to spend more time with her. I'm pretty sure Cove was. It was good to see you too, Mom. Cove embraced her in return, the two of them holding on to each other for a few seconds longer. I'll miss you, but I'll visit again soon. You better. We should make plans for you to visit us too. I'll let you know when it's settled. I'd love that. Kara bundled all the stuff she had prepared into a bag and handed them over to you. You took a quick peek at what she packed. There was fruits, nuts, seeds, hard-boiled eggs, some vegetable sticks. Oh, good to see we got some fresh food options now. The snacks I brought weren't. Kara shook her head at him and let out a soft laugh as though she wouldn't expect anything else. I seriously hope you're feeding yourself better than that at home. Yeah, of course, just not on trips. I can live with that then. She looked over him fondly, her eyes last focusing on his face, filling with emotion. I'm gonna miss you, baby. Me too. Damn, sadness. I didn't ask for this. We'll be together. I hope so. Kara put an arm around you both, pulling you together to her side for one final squeeze. Have a safe trip. We will. With the last goodbye, you exited the apartment, though Cove hesitated for a moment. In the door, his expression distant. You weren't sure what he was doing, but though you tentatively took a step towards him. Everything okay? He's gonna miss his mom. Your voice seemed to bring him back to earth. He shook his head to clear his thought, his green hair swaying from side to side. Yeah, let's go. With that, the two of you headed back to the car, ready to make the long trip home. I'm pretty sure, like, if we didn't go, if we had the option not to go, he might have wanted to just go back to his mother's and just live there. Soon enough, you were on the wide, open road with a car full of Cove's things and the only destination, Sunset Bird, California. I wanna see something. Is that a real? It looks like it. Map. I guess not. It might be based off something. Sunset Bird, California. The drive went smoothly as it could be expected, with the morning slowly creeping into midday as the miles flew by. After a while, you switched places with Cove and took over driving for a couple hours. The day flew by with a world of open road and sunshine. Before you knew it, it was early afternoon. By that point, you had crossed the state line. Cove announced that he had planned a little stop on the way home. He was quite pleased with himself as he arrived at the precise. The Redwood, we've been there. Redwood National Park. Shaded beneath a canopy of enormous redwood, you drove along. When Cove parked the car, you pushed the door to get out, and the first thing you did was to look up. Enormous redwood trees surrounded you on all sides, their massive trunks shooting straight into a canopy of foliage overhead. There's too many of them to count, stretching on one far as you could see. You squinted again against the sunlight. Hold on, I'm gonna see something real quick. I'll be right back with me. Okay, we're back. Hello. You squinted against the sunlight that was peeking through the leaves and dancing on the path around you. It's great, right? He smiled at you from the roof of his car before glancing around the place fondly. Remember our trip our family took together that one summer? It was cool going on a journey and seeing the forest in person, even if we didn't stay long. I guess we can stay even for less this time, but oh well. It just seemed like a good time to stop by. Who knows when we'll get another chance. I wonder if we pursued him, like had a relationship with him, if there'll be a family time where we went there like, oh, I remember when I was your age. And the kid being like, ah, Dad, what the fuck? His voice got a little softer in the end, but it seemed to be bittersweet for him being in a place he was so fond of, but not having the time to appreciate it fully. There was plenty to look at, and it was a good chance to refuel with some snacks and water before heading out again. It's better than taking a break. Cove nodded, his eyes drinking in the nature surrounding you. It's more beautiful anyway. Oh, my nose. And the two of you walked around wall, completely dwarfed by the sheer scale of the redwoods. It kind of put your view of yourself and everything in a strange perspective. You took in a lung full of clean forest air, listening to the sound of the bird song. Oh, Bubba. Taking advantage of the space to move around freely. However you felt about being here was totally different than sitting in the old car for hours and hours. Being here again, you couldn't help but remember on what else had happened before during the trip that you had taken here all that time ago. There was a lot of things that had reminded you of it recently. You looked over at Cove, who seemed lost in peace of the place, and you wondered if any of it crossed his mind. Smiling at the sight, you thought back on what had been a highlight of the long-gone vacation. Oh, shit. Smiling at the vacation. Oh, it's highlight of that vacation. Cove instantly started laughing at the memory of the bird taking off with Mr. Holden's sandwich. After all these years, it was still once in a lifetime. Poor Dad, he could never catch a break. You can chat about the trip a little while longer, about things you have seen and done and eaten. A lot of memories Cove had on the trip were similar to your own, but you were also surprised to hear a few other things from his point of view. So much had happened, there was no shortages of things to talk about. The place certainly had a nostalgic quality of it. Your spirits were light as you ambled past the information board in the picnic area. But before long, you decided it was back to bring the short stop to an end, and the end back to this car to get on the road. Cove sighed when you finally reached the vehicle, jangling the keys in his hand before unlocking the door. I wish we didn't have to go, but we're going to be responsible and not stay longer than we should. How grown up of you. He smiled lightly. With that, the two of you jumped into the car, buckled in, and put it in drive. You were getting closer and closer to town as the sun started setting, though you were still far enough that the radio stations were unfamiliar to you. Cove twisted the dials this way and that way before stumbling on a channel with a song that he seemed to like. That was a rare gift from the fate in the sea of static, a strange radio jockey and grating tunes. His face immediately brightened At the sound of that, he drummed the finger along with the bottom of the steering wheel happily. Sitting back, oh my nose. Sitting back in his seat, bopping his head, shimmied his shoulders from time to the tune, while mouthing along to the words. Occasionally he lifted one hand from the wheel to gesture with his finger for a specific line. Well, you got the impression he was pleased to be headed back home after everything. That song ended and Cove reached over to start cycling to the radio station again. Upon finding nothing tolerable, he flipped the dial off in defeat and leaned back in the seat with a sigh. He rested his hand, your head on your hand, and stared out like this. Like this. You can't do that because what are you going to do? Put it on your head and your hand and stared out, like on the car window, okay. And stared out the window as the sky darkened, watching the landscape slowly melt into more familiar views. The miles went on and the any energy you had earlier was beginning to drain away. You imagined home and your family and you'd be there together soon. You know, I spent all these years living in Sunset Bird and taking a few weeks each summer to visit my mom in that second room. That's not going to happen anymore. Not really. I can still see my parents, but the way it all works between us had changed forever. He paused, a silent stretch and a serious look on his face. For his thoughts far away. Oh no, we shouldn't do that. He said nothing. Hope stared straight down the long road. The path looked never ending. Look, it never ended from where you were, but it wasn't true. Eventually he found a few more words to say. I think it's good we're able to do this trip without any parent chaperone. It's just us, we did it all. I don't know, I feel a little bit more independent now. A little more ready for what's ahead. What's ahead there? Hey, I don't freaking like her. Right? It's like a real step into our own all the time. It's whatever. Stupid bots. But yeah, it'll be here before we know it. The sky outside grew ever darker as the hours passed, the stars blinking like fireflies painted on a canvas of blue. The scenery continued transitioning from open road, industrial areas, and beach town, becoming increasingly recognizable as time went on. You felt somewhat disconnected from the world around you as you watched it through your window, your tired mind growing hazy. It was strange, reflective feeling, but peaceful nonetheless. Soon enough, the world would return to you and you would find your feet firmly on the ground. It couldn't be helped. The adventure would end and life could continue, but your memories would linger on. Ooh, should we do the charity first? No. Dave. Summer ended. Yes. Moths bounced against your window, attracted by the light of your room. A siren call in the slow darkening sky just as the day was coming to an end. So would too summer. Liz would be moving back into the dorms before long. Luckily, Lee had been able to come stay for a short trip before her own new journey began. She officially had been accepted to her first choice of college a few weeks ago. This was the last chance to see you all in person. You flipped through the plans for the next few months, realized you didn't even know when you have the next opportunities for everyone to be in the same place again. It was hard to think likely you'd be seeing less of your cousins going forward, but you were delighted that she was pursuing her dream. We're gonna pursue our dream too. While you're still with each other, your family was going to have dinner together. As ever, the Holdings were tagging along. You hadn't really discovered the tropical restaurant until you were a bit older, but we went there. But everything enthusiasm has resulted in so many visits that you more than made up for lost time. Liz and Liz were excited to squeeze in another trip before sending off again. Technically, you were getting ready to go out, though your mind was only half on the task. It was pleasantly warm and the kind of optimized the vacation feeling. You were in no mood to spoil it by rushing around. While idly gazing at your room, you spotted a small cluster of unopened envelopes that must have been left for you by your parents earlier. You headed over to the table to flick through anything of interest. As a child, any correspondence felt exciting due to its rarity. You recognize now most of it was mundane, but you were checking it any mail you got more regularly of late. There was something you were expecting. You stopped at the crisp white envelope. Logo proudly proclaimed a center, a school that you applied to. Took a deep breath. This next step would take nerve. You closed your eyes as you breathed deep in the air, slipping through your lips as you opened your eyes once more. You pulled apart the glued flap on the front of the envelope, extracted the letter, and we did not get into it. Your eyes darted over the message, rushing past the pleasantry to get the heart of the matter. Blood pounding in your ears deafened you to the world outside that was contained with these letters. Your heart skidded to a halt as you read your verdict. You've been accepted! Yay! You were relieved. The tension flooded out of your body with such intensity that you needed to slump against the wall for support. You tore down the stairs and you felt your feet barely touching the ground as you leapt from one step to the next. Your arrival, which compensated for excessive speed by creating a riot of noise, caught Mom's attention. Someone's hungry, her eyes twinkling amused as she let you get your breath. So what's the rush for? I got into college. Mom whooped, holding out a hand for a high five. Nice destiny. The commotion had summoned the other women from various corners in the house. Liz looked up from her book, grinning as Lee hurried over. Ma swept in from the side, wrapping an arm around your shoulders and squeezing you close. That's wonderful, sweetie. Hey, let She wrapped her arms around you both without waiting for an invitation. Lace from her book, neatly abandoned on the floor, tapped her hands in applause as she walked up to you. Good job, Destiny. Lee didn't hide her excitement. She openly jumping for joy as she treated you to a thunderous applause. It's amazing! You're gonna be amazing! That's nice. But you shouldn't stand there. There. Yeah, there's more room for everyone. The moms opened up the hug, both keeping an arm around you, and they each held out another invite to Liz and Lee. Giggling, Lee dove into the hug. Liz rolled her eyes but allowed herself to be beckoned into the group hug. Your mom squeezed everyone close tightly. Mom's long hair brushed against her face as she turned to check the clock. We can take this party on the road. We gotta head out for dinner. Nodding, you're aware that your attempts to finish getting ready had been cast aside in favor of congratulating you. I have a couple things to do first. It won't take long. You hurried back upstairs, getting ready to go out with the issue at hand. You couldn't stop your thoughts from drifting back into the future. Your mind was buzzing over the news you received, and everything was soon unfurl. Everyone paused in the car while it was marketed as being suitable to hold 5 people. In practice, it made for a very tight fit. Your mom and sitting in the front were fine. You, Liz, and Lee were squished into the back, Lee in the middle, wedged between you and your sister. But Mom was an excellent timekeeper. Thanks for her effort to pull up to the restaurant near on time. The process of getting it out was slightly easier than squeezing into, with much less coordination required to release the seatbelt than to secure them. You gave Lee a hand as she clambered out in the middle, then headed into the building as a group. A waiter greeted you. We've been here before. What are you talking about? A waiter greeted you as you entered. Ma let him know how many of you there would be in total. He went to arrange a table that met your needs. He returned promptly to guide you to the seat. You perched comfortably in your chair, your head held aloft as buoyed by today's good news. Your family settled down around you all cheerfully and looking forward to the evening ahead. Your drinks order had just been taken when the Holdens came through the door. They were pointed at your direction. The mom waving an arm in the air was hardly necessary. Cove and Mr. Holden came to join you at the table. As greetings were being exchanged, Cove took a seat opposite your ma. Mr. Holden took a free seat next to him. It's great to see you. Glad to see you make it. Hello, everyone. You wouldn't believe how hungry I am. You came to the right place then. There was some laughter, though Liz groaned playfully. At Mom's sense of humor. Shaking her head at Mom's sense of humor. Growing up, would have complained, and Mom would have responded by making another comment. Liz had mellowed over the years, but she still made a show of despairing at Mom's joke. Her reactions to them had been a joke of its own. Menus were soon passed around and temporarily hushed over the tables as everyone could read. It didn't last long, punctured by the comment about what people had eaten here before and light chatter about what people were considering tonight. Once the waiter had disappeared with your orders, Cliff piped up. So I got some good news. Kara is making a trip out here to Merritt. Cove nodded, turning from his father to the rest of the table. Yeah, we talked about it and figured it was a good time for everyone. That's great. Everyone reacted positively to the news. The Ma looked wistful. Oh, if only we had known. Here we are, having a big meal without her. If we had waited one day, she could have joined us. Mom patted Ma on the back, gently nudging her from the realm of possibilities and what if, and back into the evening that was going on as well. Chin up. Lee and Liz will still be here tomorrow, and we'll just have to throw another get-together and keep the fun train chugging along. Ma smiled warmly and taking Mom's hand to hers. That's true. There's plenty to celebrate right now, and there will be more good news and good times in the horizon. Great. And speaking of, that's not all we got either. Mr. Holden's eyes were aligned as he sat up straight in his chair, face angled toward the sun. He's going to college too. He barely let a beat go before nudging Cove with his elbow, pushing him to follow up the announcement. He was the very picture of a proud papa. Cove shielded from the limelight, ducking his head down and staring into his lap as he spoke. Well, I switched over to working full-time instead of only part-time, plus I've been looking into apartments. There's a few I can choose from. He flicked at his gaze at everyone around the table, a smile creeping over his face. I'll be pretty busy going forward. Mr. Holden gripped one of Cove's shoulder and gave it a loving shake as excitement couldn't be contained. Incredible. Cove's actually going to make it into adulthood. It was a mere... Oh wait, incredible. Cove actually is going to make it into adulthood. It's a miracle. Mr. Holden leaned back into his chair, staring up at the ceiling in mock wonder. I wasn't convinced I'd be able to rear a kid all this way at this point, but thankfully I lucked out and got the best boy a dad could ask for. Dad. Stretch, baby! Cove blinked his vision with his hand on the side of his face, temporarily blocking his father's flight. Despite his genuine bashfulness, he left him unable to meet anyone's eye after attention flooded his way. He was happy. Thanks, I was really lucky too. You're a good dad. Come here. Mr. Holden threw an arm around Cove's neck, pulling him into a closer hug as the ceilings were loud. He rubbed his cheek on top of his son's head, while Cove chuckled, accepting the affection with good humor. Ma leaned over and whispered in your ear, her fingertips brushing against your cheek. Would you like to tell Cove and Mr. Holden what you told us earlier? He nodded. As the spotlight thrust on Cove dimmed, as you decided this was a good at the time to make your own announcement, can I share some news too? Of course. I got my acceptance letter today. I'll be going to college soon. Mr. Holden gave you a thumbs up. Impressive, you're a good kid. The world's your oyster. Cove smiled at you from the other end of the table. If we were dating, then it would have been like a problem for Cove. He'd be like, what? How are we gonna do this? That's cool. You looked around at the faces of company here. You've been on this journey with everyone for years. Seemed like seeing them falter and grow, and they had to watch you grow through the same. Cove was leaving his family home. Liz was headed back to college while Lee was starting at hers. You were sitting close, but it was clear you were all headed in different directions to different destinations, some near, some far, but it wouldn't be long until you were all going your own way. It was bittersweet. It was bittersweet. You turned your head to the side wistfully, not wanting to spoil the evening with your trouble. You were glad everyone was succeeding, but the end of splitting up gave you a twinge of regret. These people had been the key pillar in your life. Days ahead without them, no matter how bright and shiny, felt a little empty, like a theme park after closing time. New adventures were still ahead, and you were encouraged on that optimism. Things relaxed, and you took a sip of your drink. Lee idly tapped the table and got your attention. I'm so excited to try this place. I'm not sure if I ever really eaten here. It's more Destiny's place than mine. Let's hope it's good. Other restaurants in the area are pretty top-notch in my own opinion. We'll see. It was a trying to shoot where Liz carried herself like some sort of professional food critic, and Mom snorted. Tough crowd, oh geez, Liz. Ma giggled and chimed in as well, as much to Liz's embarrassment. That's right, Lizzie. Gee. Oh, gee Louise. You shook your head at all the silliness. Why was your family like this? Jeez. Everyone burst out laughing, besides Liz, of course. She smirked. No one could ever accuse your family of being no fun. Night fell soon after everyone finished their meals, and before you knew it, you were standing in the parking lot saying your goodbyes, packing up the cars to go home. And after the last chore was done, your family spent some more time together. The rest of the night felt like it was going in a blink of an eye, and somehow the time came to retire into your room to sleep. You pulled your covers up to your chin. I love this area. You settled down for the night. Getting cozy, warm and cozy. With the sound of crashing waves, the little waves, you relaxed into your pillow, letting out a deep breath. It wasn't long before your eyes grew heavy and you drifted off into a sleep of peace. The next morning you woke, let's say, sleep. Next morning you woke slowly from a comfortable dream, finding yourself safe, warm, and tucked into bed. With a small stretch, you opened your eyes to the sun shining in through the small window. After waking up a little And getting ready, you headed downstairs to find your family, all gathered around the kitchen area. Good morning. You all greeted them and received a good choice of good mornings back in return. Which Liz? You nodded in acknowledgement as you headed into the kitchen to find some breakfast. A knock at the front door caught your attention. It's Cove, and curiosity pulled you to follow several steps behind Mom as she went to answer it. Kara! Cove was waiting there with both of his parents. Morning. Hi there. Surprised at the sight, Mom paused a moment, and then she pulled Kyra into a big hug. Meanwhile, you approached the door and flashed a small smile at Cove. Kyra, it's been too long. I know, time's been flying. Kyra's gaze slid over to you. She waved. Hi there, Destiny. Hey, welcome back. Kyra chuckled at your small wave. I'm glad to be back. Enough of standing around. Come on in. Mom moved to the side to usher the group in, guided them to the living room. Before anyone could get settled in, Mom spoke up. You're all welcome to stay for breakfast. We still have some great spices and stuff from the farmer's market. Yes, we'll be thrilled to host you. There's eager nods from Mr. Holden and Kyra, but Cove looked around the room, filled with unfamiliar faces, before speaking up. Maybe instead of staying here, why don't we go to the beach? A singing picnic, eh? Mr. Holden crossed his arm and contemplated at the idea happily. Excited, Kyra clapped her hands together. We could make a day out of it. Might as well enjoy the ocean while we can. That sounds lovely, Cove. Everyone else put in their own agreements with Cove's suggestion. Before long, both families had dispersed, getting ready, everything ready. Sandwich had to be made, water, sunscreen, towel, more needed to be gathered and packed. An hour later, both of your families and Cove was walking down the old path to the beach. The morning was already turning into a bright, beautiful day. You couldn't have asked for better weather for a beach trip. The moment you laid your eyes on the full view of the ocean, you stopped and stood there memorized. It didn't matter that you grew up here. The sight always filled you with wonder. Hey, Destiny. I was thinking about Terry and Miranda. See if they can come too. Everyone pretty much already here. Would your family mind? It'd be cool. I asked them. You're already excited at the prospect of seeing your friends today. You immediately darted away in the direction your mom went. Behind you, you could hear a familiar sound of Cove laughing. I have a question. Would it be alright if Cove and Miranda came by? I don't see why not. Mom looked at Mom to see what she thought. She nodded in agreement. Then Mom shot a glance at Mr. Holden and Kyra, knowing they had likely heard everything. Cliff, Kyra, what do you two think? More the merrier. Okay, stay will come with me. Thanks. Delighted you nodded, turned on your heels. Cove was still several feet away from talking to Liz and Lee, likely about the same topic. With beaming smile, you gave them a thumbs up, and the two of you must have approved. As Cove quickly got out his phone and started making calls. At that turn, you turned your attention to helping with the picnic setup. You hurried over to your mom's and helped pull the rest of the food out. And in the moment you had noticed Cove at your side. So what they say, they're gonna come. Cool, thanks for calling them. No problem. I'm glad I thought of it. They'll meet us here later today. It shouldn't be too long. I can't wait. Once everything was set up and done, everyone got comfortable and dug into the food. You couldn't remember last breakfast tasted so good, but you attributed it to the gorgeous ocean view and soothing sea breeze. Morning swiftly gave away to afternoon. A very recognizable face came walking down to the shore. Baxter seemed momentarily surprised to see you all there. He pleasantly approached with a wave. Hello there. I didn't mean to intrude on the party. I was coming down here to get some fresh air. Oh, you didn't intrude on anything. You're welcome to join us. We brought plenty of towels and food and sunscreen. Yeah, you're one of the neighbors. Back and relax with it. Well, I can't possibly say no to that. Thank you. Baxter gave over to you and Cove. He smiled. Destiny, Cove. Long time no see. Hi. You waved from where you leisurely sat out and Cove nodded. It was then that Baxter noticed his face he didn't immediately recognize from the neighborhood. He turned up his charm even more for introduction. Excuse me, I'm Baxter Ward. I'm sorry we haven't met before. Well, we're not typically around here. This area, just visiting. I'm Cove's mom. A few giggles escaped Lee as she watched Baxter carefully, and when his attention turned to her, she held out her hand. Hi, I'm Lee, Destiny's and Liz's cousin. Baxter shook it and then took a step back. Lee's smile grew. I'll remember that. It's nice to meet you both. Uh-huh. Okay, so we're back. After that, Baxter spent some time getting better acquainted with everyone. Terry and Miranda arrived excitedly. The conversation shifted to what you would all do next. We could do a few rounds of volleyball. There's plenty of us now. Could I play? Of course. Miranda's bright and delighted with this plan. Ma looked around to see if there was any takers. I don't feel like playing. I'd have to change, but it'd be fun to watch. I could be the ref. My eyes won't miss the thing. Volleyball's a good idea, but there should probably be something happening for those who aren't a fan. Oh, I have some crafting supplies. We could make jewelry. We could even use the stuff we find around the beach to accentuate with them. What? Really? I want to make a necklace. I'd be interested in trying my hands at that. And promptu crafting is my kind of party. I'd like to join too, please. I'll make some jewelry. Already you're imagining various designs that you can can make depending on what lead let you use. Your cousin showed you a thumbs up, clearly happy with your direct thing. I want to play some volleyball. Kara got up from her towel she was sitting on. She brushed the sand off her legs and then stretched her arms over her head. I'm up for a few rounds. Now that the plans were settled, the room temporarily split into two. Let's see. I think I might call it there. I'm gonna go. Thank you guys for watching. Come to my Discord to be alerted when I'm live. And info. Type exclamation point GISCORD for my Discord. Type exclamation point INFO for all my links. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna go. Thank you guys for watching. I had a worry for a moment. Holy crap. I was about to say, what the flip? So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Join the Discord to be alerted when I'm on. Thank you guys. I'm gonna go. Bye.